Ready? All right, we do have 10 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order and we'll rise for the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for showing up. Looks like we have most here, and Steve, I think you're someplace a little warmer than us anyways, aren't you?
Yeah, it's pretty darn nice.
Do you even want to swear at us and tell us what the temp is or not?
I don't know, but I was just outside having coffee on the deck in my t-shirt and it got hot. So
Yeah,
does that tell you
okay.
anything?
All right. Well, nice to see you. And at this time, we will start with public forum. And see some here. I don't know if you guys are talking. You guys are on the agenda, but you guys want to come up? Okay. Nope. Okay. Sounds good. Is there anybody online? Okay. All right. We will move past public forum and look at the agenda. Is there any additions or corrections?
There, Mr. Chair, members of the board, there are not any additions or corrections, just a note that under other, Sheriff Nelson will give us a quick update on the pipeline explosion from Friday.
Okay. Sounds good.
Agenda, Mr. Chair.
All right. Ludwig moves.
Second. On the, Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
on the consent agenda, can we move something to the regular agenda?
Yep.
I'd like to discuss some of the training. So that would be, I guess, all of number 9.
All right, so I'm just writing something else. So on the consent agenda, number 9, training, all of that. The whole thing you want to move to the regular agenda? Let's just,
We put it right after personnel,
yeah, so we'll do like,
2.1.
yeah, 2.1.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
did we have a second on my motion? Okay, so,
With that change.
yeah, well, withdraw. I will withdraw. And I'll move the amended agenda.
Second the amended.
All right, so we got a motion and a second. We're moving number 9 on the consent agenda training to 2.1 on the regular agenda. That's right. That's in. Okay, any discussion? Hearing none. Deb, you want to call the roll?
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Waldham,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludwig,
Aye.
Commissioner Holland.
Yes,
Thank you.
All right, approve the minutes of the January 6, 2026 regular county board meeting and summary for publication.
And Mr. Chair, members
Yeah.
of the board, we do have a quick correction to them.
Okay.
On the committee list, line number 18 for the East Central Regional Development Commission, that lists Ludwig, and I believe that should be Holland.
Okay. Sounds good. So motion would be with that correction on the minutes.
I'll move that.
Okay. Motion by Holland. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Nelson. Any discussion? Hearing none. Deb, can you call the roll?
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Waldham,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludwig,
Aye.
Commissioner Hallen,
Yes,
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. Minutes of the boards, committees, and correspondence, Minnesota Public Utilities Commission. And notice of public comment period. January 9, 2026. We got a motion on that.
I'll move that.
Okay, we got a motion by Nelson. We got a second.
I'll second.
Second by Ludwig. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, go ahead, Deb.
Commissioner Waldham,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludwig,
Aye.
Commissioner Holland,
Yes,
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Nelson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right, consent agenda with the removal of number 9.
I'll move the consent.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, go ahead, Deb.
Commissioner Ludwig.
Aye.
Commissioner Holland,
Yes,
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Waldham.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the regular agenda. Pine County Subsurface Sewage Treatment System Ordinance Amendment. Okay, say that 5 times fast, huh?
SSTS.
SSTS, that's much easier. And it looks like Kelly here, or,
Sure, yep, I can take this, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Back in December, we had presented to you a proposed amendment to our sewer ordinance, SSTS ordinance. And that was reviewed by our zoning board in December, and the zoning board has now recommended it to the county board for public hearing and consideration. As a reminder, this ordinance amends our sewer ordinance to allow administrative variances in cases where, in very specific cases where lots cannot support a type 1 septic system. So it's only for new lots. So if I'm trying to split a property and my new lot can't support a type 1 septic system, this amendment gives some specific criteria, which is 1.5 acres of buildable area that would allow us to move forward with that subdivision. With this Minnesota rule, there are quite a few lots in Pine County where it's just a hunt for septic designers to find it. And when they find it, find a spot that can support a type 1 septic system, it's not anywhere close to where they're going to build anyways. So then they're going to end up with a type 3 septic system anyways. So it's just kind of an exercise that's not necessary. And so the hope is that this will really streamline that process for both the landowners, the septic designers, and we will still have the same outcome we would have had either way.
okay. All right, so is there any questions for the county board?
Well, I think we beat this up pretty good last time.
No. Okay, we'll open to the public testimony if there's anybody from the public that would like to comment on this. Yeah, you gotta come up. What's that?
This is for splitting time, right?
Correct. This is only a requirement for new lots that they be shown that they have 2 type 1 septic systems. And so this would give us specific criteria where if a lot cannot support a type 1 septic system, it still could be subdivided.
Okay, any other public testimony? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Any other county board discussion? All right, so we'll consider the adoption of ordinance 2026-04, amending the Pine County Subsurface Sewage Treatment Systems Ordinance.
I'll go move 2026-04.
Okay. We got a second. Second, so motion by Ludwig, second by Nelson. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. Go ahead, Deb.
Commissioner Holland,
yeah,
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Waldham,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludwig.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the Personnel Committee report. You want to go, Matt?
I can,
Okay.
Mr. Chair, thank you. We met on January 12th and we'll make the following recommendations as a committee to the board. And the Sheriff's Office Jail approved the replacement of currently open full-time lead court security position with a part-time current court security officer position to provide greater staffing and flexibility, and total staff hours are not expected to increase. It just gives them more room because they're all kind of casual employees and they can have a fill-in person. So that's what that's. Do you want me to ask for approval after each one or do the whole package?
I think these we can do the whole thing, I think.
And Health and Human Services, approve the new senior social worker job description, grade 11, and authorize for internal recruitment for up to 3 positions in the following areas: waivered services, case management, mid choices assessments, and child protection case management. These requested actions are part of the HHS department reorganization that we've talked about, and will allow filling lead positions in the critical service areas internally rather than hiring additional staff. And administration, current to Minnesota statute, consider approval of resolution 2026-03, setting the 2027 minimum salary for county attorney at 130,000 and county sheriff at 110,000. The rest of the items in the committee minutes were just kind of info and things. So, and to the I'll make a motion
Okay.
to move them for
Okay.
approval. And then if there's any comments on like the resolution, we have to by law set that salary for the upcoming elections on the sheriff and the county attorney.
Yeah, I'll second it. And I was gonna add on that, because there is an election for the sheriff and the county attorney, we gotta set a minimum. If it was someone new, what that minimum would be. So we did look at a few things and kind of came up with that. The other thing I would like to add is on the sheriff's office one, that is not a change in bodies. It was just a change from a full-time to a part-time. He said some of his part-times are casual part-time and leave for 3 months or something. So it's nice to have a little bit better coverage there, but he doesn't need a full-time guy. And the Health and Human Services as well, that was no net gains of bodies, right? If I remember right. It was just I think we're almost done with the reorganization, or is this not quite?
Right, there's one more piece.
Okay, so this is part of that reorganization on HHS that we talked about a few months ago. This is just another step in that. So, yeah, is there any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. Deb, you want to call the roll?
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Waldham,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludwig,
Aye.
Commissioner Holland.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to 2.1, the training piece that was on the consent agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me explain. Okay, I guess with everything going on in St. Paul and the shortage of billions of dollars with fraud and the federal government now cutting more funding to Minnesota, I guess I'm questioning for example, the one training through Minnesota Department of Health for a fee of $2,547 if we really need to send people to Orlando, Florida for that training, or we should maybe just pump the brakes here a little bit and not spend this money to kind of help with what's going on. Any discussion?
Well, so you're saying that we shouldn't train our staff? Is that what you're referring to? Because I think a lot of this training is very important to our staff, doing their job properly. I guess, the fact that it's in Orlando doesn't necessarily mean, a trip to Disney, but I'm assuming the Work Human Conference, that's probably where they're at. And most of these positions do need continuing education. So
Yeah, and if I could add, so it's not a Minnesota Department of Health training. It's simply using the workforce grant that we receive from the Minnesota Department of Health.
And the other one is the communities that care. Other one, that one, I guess that one's in Nisswa, Minnesota. What's the total on that? $1,250.
Okay. Well, again, that one looks like it's funded through a grant, which, I'm confused on what you're getting at. So you're saying we shouldn't train our,
I just think with everything going on, it's all tax dollars, public
What?
dollars.
but what?
We should maybe question the amount of training. Is it necessary?
Can you
When
be
was the last
clear?
time they were trained?
Can you be clearer on what's going on? Are you talking about, what are you talking about? Just trying to follow.
I've explained it. If you're
There's a lot of stuff in St. Paul
confused, I
going on.
can't help you.
There's a lot of stuff in St. Paul going on. What specifically are you talking about?
Questioning the $2,547 to send people on training. Is this necessary? But
I think, Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
if I could, I don't think you're off base, JJ, but I think in this case, we have, allowed training to be in our budgets, and if we're gonna put a halt to any training that costs more than $1,000 or any training that puts people more than 2 states away, I think that's a discussion we need to have at our maybe at our committee of the whole meeting. I think the chair is correct that once we start not training our people, the cost can go up astronomically to have non-trained people, and the fact that these trainings take place at venues that are also sometimes considered vacation spots is a matter of economics, because that's usually where they get their best pricing from to host these things. That's my 2 cents.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I think, that could be a discussion for a policy. But my belief is if we have, employees that want to get trained in national stuff, I believe our county attorney, our probations director, they've been all over the nation actually giving training, and also taking training. I think that's part of why we're doing so well in some of these areas. So, yeah.
I would just add that a lot of these positions have to maintain a license and they have to get so many credits, whatever it is, every 2 years, every 3 years, and they have to keep their license up. So that's part of that, what happens here. If they're gonna function in the county, they have to put, for law enforcement and everybody else, they have to have a licensure and they have to have credits to keep their license.
Yeah,
Mr. Chair,
yeah,
since everybody got to weigh in on this.
yeah.
I feel like, so I think just by raising the issue, has probably been good in the sense of, yeah, we don't have dollars that are just unlimited. At the other side of the coin, I don't know if I'm the one that decides which training is important and which isn't. We leave that up to department heads, and I think the department heads have gotten the message and that the dollars are tight, and I'm going to leave it in their hands if they feel that this is important for their staff. And again, just by the fact that we've raised this issue, keeps it in the forefront.
Oh, Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
we have maybe Becky Foss could elaborate more on like what Commissioner Ludwig brought up, if it has to do with licensing or the importance of it. maybe she could enlighten me on what I'm missing, or maybe it'll help me understand.
Are you prepared to answer some of these questions? Otherwise, we can table it for a different time too. Okay, sounds good.
Morning, Becky Foss, Pine County Health and Human Services Director. So I hear Commissioner Waldman bringing up concerns about two trainings, Communities That Care, grant coordination, that one. I just want to say that that's the work that Kayla does, is in substance use prevention. And so the fact that she's going to a substance use prevention skills training should not surprise anyone. And that's covered entirely by the grant that she works under in public health, state funds. Secondly, the Work Human Conference, that is also, I just want to make it clear that Jessica Phelan and Sam Lowe specifically sought out a grant to go to that training. And they have gone before and brought back some really great information about recruitment and retention. So how we attract key people, how we keep them, all those things, especially having 100 people in health and human services. That's something that's very important to me. And it's also, they go then and speak to what they learn, both locally, regionally, and at a state level. They have also done conferences about this. And MDH specifically said, you can do this and we want you to come back and teach us what you learn at the conference. And that's why it's paid for with the grant money. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we do need a motion. I'm actually thinking if you have an issue with A and B, you can withdraw them. We can take these separate or all together. It's whoever wants to make the motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the training as provided in the documents.
Okay,
I'll second that.
all right. Is there any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. Go ahead, Deb.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Waldham,
I oppose.
Commissioner Ludwig,
Aye.
Commissioner Holland.
Yes.
Thank you.
One other quick thing I just wanted to add to the Personnel Committee, minutes or whatever, just to follow up with that, is we did have the discussion at Personnel on how to convey a little bit of what we're doing there better to the rest of the board. Jackie and her team are gonna work a little more on maybe even like a checklist or something like that, that it checks these boxes. Something easy, but easy for us to understand that, hey, these were vetted or whatever type of deal, just so it gets back to the board. Because if you're not on it, a lot of that discussion is had there, and it's kind of hard to have that in the minutes. So, and I know sometimes it can be a concern, whatever. So just, I just, as I was going through this, remember that. So that's not uncommon for me to remember stuff a little too late, but okay. So we'll move on. Boards, committees, and appointments. So at the organizational meeting, we thought it was mostly, well, we just forgot some of the stuff. So we're gonna redo a few of these. We have some openings. Kelly, do you want to elaborate a little bit?
Sure. So there's a number. So the first item is item number 7 on the committee list. We are allowed 8 delegates to AMC. And we currently only have 7. So I'm suggesting appointing Terry Fawcett as our 8th delegate. Terry a lot of times is at the meeting anyway, so there shouldn't be additional costs or anything associated with that appointment. And then there is a number of committees where we did not name an alternate. And the bylaws of those committees really do require an alternate. Should that person need to go, they would, if they're not a named alternate, they're not allowed to participate or vote at the meeting. So it would be important to have a named alternate.
Okay. So we'll just start on your board packet, the ones highlighted in yellow. The One Watershed, One Plan Policy Committee, Kettle River, Upper St. Croix. We have Ludwig as a representative. We do need an alternate. not sure. I think I can probably, when are them ones?
I won't miss many of them, so if you want to grab it, I'll.
I'm just wondering if they're the same day as us.
They're not at the same.
They're not? Okay,
No.
yeah, then I can take that one.
Okay.
My name in there.
The alternate,
Unless Steve or Roger wanted.
No,
Okay, and then the Nemadji One Watershed, One Plan Policy Committee. They're obviously a different day. That doesn't.
Right, and they do not meet very often.
You know,
about 2 times a year now.
okay, yeah, because I can go on there too.
You taking the Magi also?
Yeah, I'll take Nemadji too. Unless somebody else wants it. No speakers, no takers,
No.
nice bidder. Central Regional EMS Committee. We have Ludwig as a primary. We do need an alternate on that. And like Matt said, he's usually at most of them. So,
Were you there last time, JJ?
We're at,
Were you my alternate last time?
for which one?
EMS.
I think I was, yes.
I don't know.
Put me in there.
You wanna? Nelson will go as an alternate on that one. And then East Central Regional Juvenile Center Advisory Committee. We have Ludwig as a primary. I think actually I was on that for a while.
I think you were.
can Terry Fawcett be our alternate?
I read the bylaws and it has to be an elected official.
Okay.
I can do it. Or do you
I
want?
would do it, except it's at the same day as the workforce or the Council on Aging meeting.
Okay,
Always the same time and day.
okay. Yeah, I think I can do it. I don't think it conflicts.
It's usually Zoom too, so.
Oh, okay. Do you remember what day it usually is?
Thursday.
Okay, yeah. We
And
can,
it's usually noon.
we'll just make sure Matt goes to them all.
Yeah. I don't miss many, but I have missed some.
All right, so now we're moving on to Lakes and Pines. CAC, which is number 27. Anybody interested in that one?
Which one?
Lakes and Pines, Holland, you are the primary.
I am
We
the
just need an
primary.
alternate.
I don't miss many.
Okay. I do believe I was on that, but I think that,
You can put me in there, Mr. Chair.
okay, Ludwig. All right, so Ludwig takes that one. Law Library, number 28. I'm the primary. It's a tough one.
Sure.
Okay.
I can be the alternate.
Roger beat you to it.
Okay,
He arm wrestled me for it.
good.
So.
You taking that, Roger?
Yeah.
That's a nice 15.
Rather enlightening. We usually BS more than we do work, so. Except Reese will contest, we do a lot of work in there, so. Northeast Minnesota Area Transportation Partnership. Holland, you're the primary.
I am, and they do meet on Zoom. So it's it's something we've done really well, because we got great county engineer support.
Okay,
But you do have to be at that meeting because that's the meeting where they have, gets to the end of a fiscal year and they end up with some extra federal money, like not chump change. $800,000-900,000 we've gotten twice that I can remember because they like Mark and we were there.
yeah, and that's one where you gotta be ready for a project to be
Yep,
done and you gotta be in person.
yep.
Sure.
Okay. Nelson's gonna take that one. That is,
Yep, so then you just need 4 options.
okay,
And
Yeah.
Okay.
or go ahead, Steve.
just to make sure the Regional Development Commission Cause that was a rigmarole to get hooked up there.
Yeah, so that's the one we corrected in the minutes originally,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
line 19,
Is that the first one you mentioned?
line 18.
Yeah,
Who took that? Oh,
we already did that one.
yeah, who took it?
Colin,
He's the alternate?
Okay, so we do need a motion on all these.
I had a
Yeah.
question for.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So it goes back to the AMC delegate. My question is, as the auditor treasurer, when you were in that position, did you find that beneficial or not? Or, because I know Terry's
Yeah.
there, and I'm not necessarily gonna rock the boat on that, but I was,
so as the auditor treasurer, I was not a delegate, and I quite honestly did not have time to go to any of that, so, yeah, if you'd want to make a different decision, you sure can.
well, I was just thinking in light of a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a fair amount of discussion revolving around dollars at the AMC. It isn't just always, policy. A lot of it, what's the dollars associated? How is this going to affect our budget? And I think bringing our auditor treasurer into that discussion at a level that is maybe even beyond our, just our immediate, has some value. Now, I'm not saying that we make a change this year, but I'm just putting that out there that, that in the future, I just want us to be aware of that. So,
Was there a lot at AMC for like that area or was?
Well, you can make a case that everything does.
Yeah, everything revolves around dollars.
Yeah.
Every program that we talk about
Yeah,
comes down to dollars and cents, and I appreciate Roger's input on that.
and I do like that direction. And I wonder, just being Mary's first year, maybe we do relook at this next year, just so we remember. If you're fine with that.
oh, I am sure for sure,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and maybe look in the future or have her go to some of that and see what she thinks too. So. Okay. So did we have a motion? No. Okay, so we need a motion.
I'll move that, Mr. Chair, all the.
All right, we got a second.
I'll second.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, go ahead, Deb.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Waldham,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludwig,
Aye.
Commissioner Holland,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, Extension Committee appointment. You wanna take this or do you want me to?
Mr. Chair, I have an appointment ready
Okay,
after discussing at our last meeting, and thanks again to Commissioner Holland for explaining it a little better. I had some really interested people up in my actual district, and it was conflicting with everything else they had going on. Very busy families, very busy with everything like the rest of us. But since I got the understanding it can be outside of my district, I have a person that's got 20 years in the manufacturing industry, passion of agriculture. It just goes on and on. This resume looks great. They have practice organic farming with no pesticides, with fertilizers. They have cows, chickens, crops, hay. It just goes on here. Extension office is valuable to the 4-H. When this person was younger, was heavily involved with the 4-H community, teaching children a variety of skills. Those skills translate into social skills, compassion, and understanding where food comes from. The position will give this person an opportunity to see what the Extension office has available to serve the community, other community organizations. The person belonged to was 4-H, 30 years treasurer as a homemakers, Blue Star, foreign exchange program, Cambridge Medical Floral. So my candidate for this appointment would be Denise Weiss.
Okay. All right, you're making that as a motion?
Yep, I make that as motion.
Does it need to be a motion? He just has to give us somebody.
Well, and it has to be yes, the board
does.
has to make the.
Okay. All right, you got a second. So Walden makes a motion. We have a second.
Mr. Chair, just a procedural question. Is this is this an appointment by the chair,
By the board.
by the board? So therefore it does need a motion by the whole board. Got it. Okay, just trying to clarify.
So we do need a second.
I'll second that.
Okay. Second by Nelson. Is there any other discussion? All right. Hearing none. Go ahead, Deb.
Commissioner Waldham,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludwig,
Aye.
Commissioner Holland,
No.
Commissioner Moore,
No.
Commissioner Nelson.
Yes.
All right. So we will move on to Windermere Township. Lakes Association. We got a couple of guys here. Lauren Radke, Bill Yecko. Did I say it right? Okay, sorry. And Dan Benzie. So these guys are here to just provide some information on where our funds went in 2024. So yeah, you guys can come up. You can relist your name. I'm sorry.
All right. Thanks. I appreciate it. I am Dan Benzie. I've lived on Island Lake for 40 years in Windermere Township, and I'm currently the chair. And I have two board members with me today. Bill Yeckout is our expert angler on the board. And he's lived, I just learned this morning, he's lived his entire life on Sturgeon Lake. His mother was pregnant with him when they bought the place. So he's been there a long time. And Lauren Radke oversees our AIS program. And he's going to do most of the discussion today. And Lauren's been on Sturgeon Lake for 18 years. So really the main reason we're here is to thank you guys. And I think I can speak for the lake associations within the county when I say we really appreciate your prioritizing AIS funding for the county lakes. And along with the funding is the flexibility. And you'll see that in Lauren's presentation, how the invasives are unpredictable and variable from year to year. And so the fact that you've been flexible like you were in 24, and you'll see the significant impact that made. And we really do appreciate that. So just briefly, I'll just go briefly as to who we are as a lake association. I think in your packet, you have a little summary like that says who we are. Like many of the lake associations around the state, we've been funded back and founded back in the early 70s. So been around for 50 years, like many of them. We're made up of 11 board members elected from the lakes throughout the township. We have over 400 now active members, meaning paid dues members. So it is a big and active organization. What we really do is education. That's our main focus. We do a couple newsletters a year. We do 3 general membership meetings. We always have over 50 people at the meetings, and we bring in outside experts, DNR, soil and water. The things we talk about are things you guys have all heard of. Every time we interact with the membership, we talk about clean, drain, dry. We talk about lakeshore buffers, those types of things. We do some hands-on things like water quality testing, putting buoys out on Sturgeon Lake. But the biggest thing we do as an association is the AIS, the organizing, monitoring for it, funding for it. The things we're doing now is be 20 years now, we've been treating chemically milfoil in 2 of our bigger lakes. We're in our 3rd year now of growing little beetles, treating purple loosestrife, which is scattered around the township. We monitor on a regular basis for spiny water flea and zebra mussels on our large lakes. And now this will be our 1st year coming up treating curly leaf pondweed. We just found it in Island Lake this year, which means it's probably in the others as well. So we're actively treating those things at this point. Realistically, we know, and you guys know, there's new invasives coming. And our goal is to manage them. We're not going to get rid of them and all. So it'll be an ongoing thing year to year. And we really appreciate the cooperation and working together to tackle this in the county. So for that, we thank you. I'll let Bill just talk a little bit about the recreational value and then we'll turn it over to Lauren.
Hi, like I said, I've been on sturgeon my whole life, and the one thing after your support with this AIS program for 20 years, when sturgeon first got milfoil on the lake, I thought we're gonna go down a slippery slope here because I was real familiar with other lakes I'd fished, and the DNR will only permit you for a certain percentage of your lake. And sturgeon being so clear that I was really concerned that we'd get above that percentage and then it would just be taken over and not be able to be boated on. But what I saw was, about 20 years ago, there were several different types of chemicals that were used, and pretty much one year it worked pretty good, next year it wouldn't. But it was pretty much just keeping it at bay for many years. And then in 23, I think, we came out, there was a new product that just targeted milfoil. And we decided to use that even though it was really expensive. And they did, but it exploded from that year after we used it. It exploded from 14 acres to upper 70s on sturgeon. And I'm not talking, there was other lakes that we were dealing with this also, but I'm just basically specifically talking about sturgeon. And here we found out more that the company we're using, they treated the acreage of the milfoil by just the acreage, and they just had an average depth. But what they really needed to do was, figure out the depth of the milfoil and treat it by acre foot. So if it isn't, and basically that drove the costs from basically 40,000 to do everything we had at that point. That was like 180,000 or something. So then when we came back to you guys, and I thought, we'll never get out of this problem. And we asked you guys for some more money. And I just want to thank you again, was you guys gave us the support, and now Lauren can tell you what a great product and how good it was. But I worked in government for 35 years, and very seldom did anybody ever say thank you. And so that's why I thought this was important to come and thank you guys for your support.
Thank you.
Hey folks, my name is Lauren Radke. I'm a volunteer on the Windermere Lake Association Board. I'm the AIS rep. In my day life, I'm an engineer. I work in industrial construction projects around the country. But being on the board, obviously I live on the lake. I care about it. We all care about our lakes. I don't know how I see Kelly has some slides. Can everyone see those? Okay. There's a slide that starts with 2022. And I put a 2022 and a 2023 slide in there. And that's I just put that in there to show you typically what a lake map looks like, that the DNR produces that map. Every spring, the DNR will survey and produce those maps. It's called a delineation map.
You want to look at them for reference?
I can see. I'm good.
See it? Oh, yeah, I can take mine up.
I'm good. Thank you. You can see in 2022, it's typical of the previous 20 years. 2023, it's typical of the previous 20 years. It fluctuates, but then in 2024, it just exploded. 100 some acres are pushing that, and no one could really explain it. Weather, traffic, water levels, temperature. I mean, it all contributes to the amount of Eurasian water milfoil. So in 2024, it just spiked, and that's what Bill was alluding to. You know, we asked for some extra support from you folks. You provided it. And now look at 25. Bam, you know, there's only just a little bit of milfoil there by the public access. That's what your support helped us get to. So again, thank you for that.
Treat the public access?
Sorry?
Did you treat the area by the public access or does it just get reloaded, do you think, from other boats?
We were only allowed to treat up to a certain acreage that, and that's where we didn't treat that area. Yeah. I gave one more slide and it's kind of a spreadsheet. And I'm not going to go through the whole spreadsheet. You can look at that later, but just kind of focus your eyes down to the bottom of it. I've talked about 2022, 2023. You can see how it spiked in 2024. You can see the acreage from 2025. If you look over to the right, you can see the different herbicides that have been used over the years. Currently, we're using an herbicide called Procelacor. That's a DNR recommended herbicide that milfoil is treated with. It's scientifically engineered to target only the milfoil, not the other native plants. I don't know how they do that, but it's pretty darn interesting, you know. It's injected into the water by a boat with outriggers on it, and it's injected down into the water around the plants. It's got about 1 hour to absorb, and then poof, it's gone, dissipated, you know. So at $1,000 an acre, you got to get it right. And that's where also on that chart, you can see the treatment applicator. For many years, it was a company called Lake Management. And then in 2024, we switched to a company called PLM. In my opinion, the PLM is out of St. Cloud, PLM Lake and Land Management. They're the ones that apply the herbicide. We switched to PLM because one, he offered a warranty, and he came with some good recommendations. And what I've learned is putting this herbicide together, it's almost like baking a recipe in your home. It has to be the right mix. It has to be applied to the right depth, the right surface area. You have to take into consideration the density of the milfoil itself. And so there's that engineering and there's that math that has to go in to make the recipe before it's applied. And you can see by the results between 2024, when things were just crazy bad, and what happened in 2025, he got the recipe right. You know, so you can look at the numbers at $1,000 an acre, you know, from 100 acres to 5 or 6 acres. Now we're making a difference, you know, and we're getting it to a manageable level. Like Bill said, we'll probably never get rid of it, but we can get it to a manageable level. And that's the goal of ourself and the DNR, is to get it to that manageable level. So that's what I wanted to show you on those slides. Just maybe another minute here. As we get towards spring, as soon as ice is out, our DNR rep from the northeast part of the state, his name is Rich Wazinka. He's going to go out and he's going to do these delineation surveys. We'll make new maps. We'll have a guaranteed, we'll have a solid quantifiable amount of acreage on Sturgeon Lake and Island Lake and Sand Lake. That's when then Rich will issue permits to treat those lakes. That's when we'll work with our our applicator, PLM Lake and Land Management. And it becomes kind of this tri-relationship between ourselves and the DNR and the applicator. And he'll treat, this summer. And then we'll have to do, we'll hopefully be allowed to use some of the AIS funds to pay for that. And I've also applied for a state grant, and I'll use that also. One of the requirements of the state grant is that we will do a follow-up survey at the end of the summer. A point to intercept survey, it's called. And it's really just looking at before and after the treatment. So that's my role within the Lake Association. You folks have been a big part of that. I hope to walk over and meet Aaron today, Aaron Gustafson. So again, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Are there any questions about that?
I have one question. How many times in a row can you use that new one, that Pro, without switching to a different one, so it doesn't get an immunity built up to it?
Yeah, we don't really know that, 2,4-D was used for years.
Yeah, but they used to kind of alternate to stop that, didn't they?
They tried that, and I think, in fact, Lauren, you correct me here, the first year that we used Procelicor, we used 2,4-D on part of the lakes and then Procelicor on another part. It's only been around for, like I said, 5-6 years. So far, they've not seen any resistance, would be the term they'd use in that, or immunity. But you're right, Matt, at some point in time, you probably do need to start switching back.
If it's working that good, I say just pound it.
Yeah.
So
We do use other chemicals this year. We mentioned we'll most likely, assuming we get the dollars and things from the state and you guys and the DNR agrees, treat the curly leaf pondweed for the first time this year. And that uses a more basic, I don't know if it's 2,4-D exactly, but it's one of the basic aquicides, is that class of chemicals, that are treating plants in the water. So that'll be a different chemical than the Procelicor, and it's much cheaper because they've been around for a long time. Yeah.
I would like to address the comment about pounding it.
Yeah.
We follow the DNR's recommendation. So when he says there's 20 acres, we got to treat for 20 acres, not 30, so.
One thing I've seen with this new product before, like if you use 2,4-D or I can't remember what the other one was called, it would just kill everything in the area. And I thought those areas of milfoil when I'd be fishing were so thick that there's no way. So then now after 2024, when we did it, some of the areas I'd fished in, boy, you'd see, well, I used to call them cabbage weeds, but I don't know what the proper name is for it. There'd be few of them in there, but by last summer now, those areas had grown nice and so they're good weeds for the lake. But like before, when they were just using the 2,4-D, it just allowed those invasive plants to come in, the ones that grew the hardest. And this product seems to be really good with keep leaving the good weeds in there and letting them promote growth. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, move on to number 6, pay equity report. Oh, Jack.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I'm Jackie Koivisto, Human Resources Director. I am here today to talk with you about pay equity reporting and compliance. This is a report that we must complete using state software, and we do this every 3 years. State law requires all public jurisdictions to eliminate any gender-based wage inequities in compensation. Pay equity is a method of eliminating discrimination against women who are paid less than men, and women with the same jobs must be paid equally. All jobs, all of the jobs in Pine County are evaluated and they're given points according to the level of knowledge and responsibility required to perform the job. And this would be our Springstead class and compensation model that we use for the points. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had a question, JJ.
No, I apologize.
Oh, that's okay. Salary adjustments must be made if it is determined that women are paid consistently less than men for jobs with similar points. To determine compliance, the county uses a state software system to input all of the job classes, the number of males and female job holders, and the minimum and maximum wage for each of the job classes. Once the data is all entered for each of the classes, tests within the software system are conducted for compliance. And there are 4 different tests that the county must pass in order to be compliant with pay equity. The first is completeness and accuracy test. And this determines whether we have filed the reports on time, which with your approval, the reports will be filed by the due date of January 31st, and that we've provided accurate data and we've supplied all of the required information. The second is the statistical analysis test. And this report compares the salary data to determine if female classes are paid consistently below male classes of comparable work value. The third test is the alternative analysis test, and this compares salary data to determine if female classes are paid below male classes, even though the female classes have similar or greater work value, which would be points. And the fourth is the salary range test. And this compares the average number of years it takes for individuals to move through the salary ranges established for female classes compared to male classes. And I think on our rate schedules, our compensation schedules, it's 15 years to get to the top for all classes. So all 4 of the tests have been run in the system, and the county has passed each of these tests. So with the board approval, I will submit the information to the state for their final review. So what happens is if you approve for me to submit the report, then the state will review everything and we have met the requirements of each class. So they will issue an approval certificate to be posted.
Okay.
Very technical.
Yeah, lots. Okay, so we need to make a motion on this to submit the pay equity report.
I'll move it, Mr. Schutz.
Okay, Ludwig moves. We have a second.
I'll second.
Second by Nelson. Discussion. Thank you. It sounds like a lot of work.
It really is. It's really more work in understanding the system. So
Is this, we have to do this every year?
every 3 years.
3 years. I remember it, but I don't, yeah. Sounds good. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Go ahead, Deb.
Commissioner Ludwig,
Aye.
Commissioner Holland,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Waldham.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie.
All right, we'll move on to number 7, collective bargaining labor agreement, 2026 through 27, Teamsters Sheriff's Administrative Support.
Sure, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Last meeting, you had approved a number of labor agreements, and this is the labor agreement for our newly formed Teamsters Sheriff Administrative Support Bargaining Unit. This was a pretty easy conversation because there was only a couple items that we needed to work through with them, which of course was wages, the paid family medical leave, how we were going to work through that. And then the other piece that was really the biggest point of discussion was their request to move to the Teamsters health insurance plan. And this was something that we had a lot of back and forth on. And it really comes down to, should we let them move today? We would save about $30,000 a year should they move to the Teamsters plan. However, our concern as a county about that was that in the future, as new employees come on, they don't have the option of waiving the insurance. They have to take the insurance. And if all of them took family insurance, for example, it would end up costing the county about an extra $30,000. And so that was a significant concern that we didn't want to save $1 today to spend more money in the future. And so if you look at the tentative agreement, we did come up with language that really protects the county from that. And it just says if 90% of the group takes insurance and more than 60% of the group takes family insurance, then all who take family insurance will pay a portion of the premium. And so that really was our safeguard to ensure that it does not end up costing the county additional funds in the future. Of course, we don't have a crystal ball, but yet it was a safeguard that we felt good about putting in place.
I would add, this was a huge sticking point and a huge moment there, or part of contentious between the employer and the employees, because they couldn't figure out why we would object to saving money. Now, it wasn't that we objected to it, but like Kelly said, we're trying to safeguard, because going forward could potentially cost us more money. And we didn't want to lose our pool for our self-insurance. So that is after, I think we took a break and had, really had across the table discussions, which to me, I don't know, Matt, you can attest to that.
We would
This
know
year-
for a long time.
But this year
That's right.
seemed like we had a lot of across the table discussions,
Yes.
just open discussions, throwing darts at the wall, see what stuck, what didn't. And a lot of good came out of it.
I think dialogue was excellent.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that just attests to, we appreciate the employees and to have that. I think sometimes they think that we just say no to say no, but we really explained our position. And it went well. And part of the reason these employees were represented by a different union, they what did they call it, dispatch?
Yeah, they switched to union.
Right.
You have to, but to do that, they have to not be represented for a year. And now this was to go with Teamsters, and clearly because they wanted the insurance that Teamsters offered. So that was the whole reason for doing it. When we said no, they weren't real happy about it. So, but like I said, we had a few decent negotiations with them and came to, I think, almost a precedent that I think we can use as a county going forward. If other organizations want to use a different insurance than we offer, and we can say no, that's very clear. We don't have to allow anybody to leave our insurance, as long as we provide an adequate insurance. So that was something else we discussed with them as well. And I think we got some here. So it was good.
It's a small group.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what made it work.
Yeah. And it's always, but we've run into that before. It's a small group. It's one person, it's two people. But then what happens when it becomes 50 or whatever? So that's why we were trying to safeguard.
Steve, you want to say something?
Well, you probably know what I'm going to say. I think our concern has always been that if the group, the critical mass gets small enough, pretty soon we don't have a group that we can negotiate insurance rates with.
Right.
And so then what happens to all the non-union people, for one? Or the group that can't join the Teamsters or the whatever, they don't want to join it. That's I think been my concern all along is, we and I'm not there. I'm not saying this is a bad deal. I'm just saying we have to look out for the whole group.
Yep. And I think that's where we came to this conclusion, was to safeguard our insurance while still providing the employee with the flexibility of doing what they essentially wanted to do. So, and like I said, there was a lot of back and forth and a lot of contentious, like literally, what are you guys thinking? Was said, I think at one point. But then we had a chance to explain and it was good. It went well. So, I think when we finalize this, were we in the Chafee room?
Mhm.
I kind of thought back when I was looking at Chafee's picture back to, when I first started on the negotiations committee, I was with Steve and so it was kind of fitting that we did it in the room named after him. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So, with that, we do need a motion on it.
Yeah, I'll move it.
Okay, and I'll second it. Now, with that, if there's any other discussion, I think we kind of hit a lot of it ahead of time, but. Okay, hearing none, go ahead, Deb.
Commissioner Holland,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Waldham,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludwig.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to commissioner updates, Northern Counties Coalition.
Okay, great. I know some of our updates aren't always necessarily long, but this one I actually have 5 points. Because that committee, that coalition of counties does actually a lot of work. So first one, we had Aaron, we met on the 8th of January. Aaron Vandelinde, who is from the Office of School Trust Lands, gave a long presentation about school trust lands. And of course, in the southern counties, they have very little school trust lands left. In the northern counties, there are a lot of school trust lands.
It's like a section in every township, right?
35 and 36 traditionally was set aside for that in every township. And of course, Pine County has a number of those still. And of course, landmass counties north of us have a lot of those. So there's a report coming to the legislature. He didn't want to elaborate on that because he said, I've got to save the information for the actual, presentation. So he wouldn't talk about that, but he did say something interesting. A future study that they are seriously looking at and will probably be taking up was looking at divesting school trust lands that have development potential. To me, that was kind of eye-opening because you seem like sometimes in some of these places are locked up, but the fact that they're actually considering that, I thought was a great thing, of course, looking at strategically and not wholesale. Okay, number 2. Northern land counties are talking about, some of these counties have a lot of staff, some of them have very, very limited staff. And so they are looking at exploring maybe having subcommittees, not just of commissioners, but actually like working committees for HR directors, for IT directors, where they can share ideas of what's working and what's not working within those counties. And they're looking at trying to organize that. I know we probably already got some of those things going on, but the fact that some of these northern counties that it may be just a one-person show, they really need that. And so maybe we can, as a small to mid-sized county can be a giver. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Number 3, we do have our joint powers agreement. I think that needs to be approved. And not just signed. We did approve last time to go with them for this next year as a paying member, but they would like to get those back. So do we have it?
And then I'll connect
Yeah.
or reach out to them.
Yeah. So for next month, whether it's just signed by you, or we have to have board action.
We'll take a look.
Great. Number 4. We talked about, and this is where we as counties get to bring things forward. And so I brought up the issue of wetland credits Are other counties done that, wetland restoration, so that we would get those credits rather than having to buy them for our road projects at the cost of anywhere between $20,000 and $100,000 per credit, per acre credit, however that works. That we would create those within our own county and then use them and then have them for sale. So it actually would be a financial net positive for our budget. So
Do we have to create them on a site that's?
there's very specific rules.
Yeah.
So you just don't go out and just do it, okay? Lake of the Woods, Pennington County have successfully done that already. So that was part of my poll. St. Louis County is in the middle of doing that. And they said, we ran into some problems by sort of doing it the wrong way. So they were more than willing, all three of these counties said, contact us. We'll give you our take. So that was great to hear from those counties. And the last thing is our legislative meeting, which we had last year. I think, Josh, you and I went to that along with the legislators. Representative Nelson was there and about 15 others at least, or was it maybe even more than that? So that is tentatively for March 4th in conjunction with the AMC legislative. So that's when we have our next meeting. So they're really good with trying to combine meetings with other stuff that's going on, so they're really cognizant about that. So again, apologize for the length of it, but it's a great organization.
Okay, good. All right, Arrowhead Transit.
Yeah, we met last week, I guess. They're in the process of installing a new dispatch set of software. If you've heard anybody, and I've been on that trying to get a ride end of it just so I could witness it, and it's been horrendous lately, where you're on hold for half hour or longer. So they've got a new system that they're rolling out and should be done by the time the snow melts. I talked to the folks at the city of Sandstone. They're still putting together a survey so they want to get some dial-a-ride stuff going in Sandstone. That's about it.
Okay. Chemical Health Coalition.
Okay, just briefly, this group again meets talking about essentially dispensing those tobacco funds settlements. One of the interesting thing that came out of this one was the shift. Now this year, compared how are we going to spend some of those monies? What's the most effective use of prevention dollars? And there's lots of different components. But this year, rather than doing these individual youth targeted activities, the committee decided that they would look up maybe a little broader. So what they're doing is they are sponsoring or paying the activity fee for all the high schools in Pine County for their sports and activity fees. So like typically, if you're going to be in basketball or hockey there's a fee that goes with that. And so they're going to cover the cost of that fee for this year with all the different schools. And the reason for that is it's a little bit broader. And if they can get kids involved in ongoing activities rather than always just a one-off thing, that may in fact influence them to make wiser choices in life. Okay, when it comes to this drug and alcohol abuse. And so we're going to try that for this year. And it's kind of a broader approach, but I think it's also pretty targeted, because in Pine County, if you've got a lot of kids and they want to be sort of involved in some of those activities, those costs can really start to add up after a while for certain families, and we don't want that to be the reason why kids aren't involved in these.
There's a lot that don't, just for that reason.
So thanks to Reese and the rest of the group for coming up with this sort of a different approach for this year. So.
Has there been any discussion about the naloxone grants running out and?
We did. Reese, you
Sure, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. So there was a discussion about the naloxone. There was Narcan, but the Narcan is not currently available. And I know that you had brought forward that there were 8 EMT buses in Sandstone that use it, but they do have the naloxone available, but it's the needle and syringe. So I think probably talk to Sam or Adrian and they could fill in that, but that is available.
I just know that when on our EMS committee, it dried up. The grant dried up, so we ran out.
Yeah, connect them with public health, and I think they can fill that gap.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Do you have any idea on what that costs?
I think the budget was close to 100,000 with the students.
For the fee?
For the fees for all the whole, all the districts in Pine County. So, I mean, it's a help for the, yeah.
That's huge. It's funny, I don't remember who I had the conversation with, but they were talking about, I was talking about, I sit obviously on a lot of boards and committees, and one of the things that comes up is we need more stuff for our youth to do. And I look at them, usually I speak up and say, as a father of 4 boys that are actively involved in many sports, I don't think that's the problem. I think we got to figure out a way to get the kids into some of this stuff, because there's like 4-H. We even tried, or Cub Scouts, I think it was, with our oldest, tried getting them into it, but you literally can't. I mean, with doing the other stuff that we're doing, like you miss so much and do so much. And, and I know my kids would love everything about these things, but what they're doing already, there ain't enough time in the day, and then to get their schoolwork done and have some family supper at home is another key to that. So I really appreciate that, because I think a lot of times we look at, we need to find something else to fit or this or that. So I think that was awesome. So I was happy to see that. All right, City of Pine City meeting.
Yeah, it's about cooperation and I think the big thing that's coming is the bridge over Highway 61 at the north end of the downtown part of Pine City. In 27, that's going to be reconstructed, and the boat landing that's right there is also slated to be reconstructed, and the parking lot and the right of way and all of those issues, they all tie together. And then how do you move 8,000 cars a day from going over that bridge down to a 1-lane bridge? And what do you do with the guys that farm on the north end of town and the south end of town? You got to send them out around the east side of the lake or way out to Pekegama. So, trying to make sure we've figured most of the issues out before they become issues. And then there's been some back and forth about snow plowing, and our county engineering department and road bosses will get that figured out with the city. So I think we're on the right track there.
I think, and I apologize for missing, I had some doctor's appointments that day, but I think you hit on something really, really good, because, we think about the people of Pine City. We got to think about the businesses, we got to think about everything, and that's, I mean, myself, we're in downtown, and couple of my biggest customers on the other side of that bridge.
Right.
So it's gonna be, and for us, it probably ain't gonna be that big a deal going around to the freeway, but, you know, we still want to maintain that downtown. And it's just like any project, the headaches are there, but when it's done, nobody will remember. They'll complain about the next thing or whatever. So, but I think to have a plan going forward is really important, cooperation. So that's what I like about what we got going on.
Yep.
So, thanks, Steve. East Central Solid Waste.
Yep, things are moving along there. John's doing a good job as our new director, and Janelle has, was the director for umpteen years and is stepping back, and she did a lot of different things. And one of the things we knew with her resignation was we're going to have to get some HR help, and we're going to have to get some accounting help. So we're looking to fill a position, and I don't know if those people exist, but we're going to find out if we can find a person with some HR experience and some accounting background to run basically a company that does about $5-6 million worth of business a year and then writes out payroll checks for 32 people. So that's where we're at.
All right, East Central Regional Library.
Okay, nothing too major to report, other than Isanti County did not approve the budgeted amount that was approved by the whole library board. So based on that, it was only under budget of $6,000, but all that is going to come out of direct library hours for Isanti County. So it's not going to affect us per se, but it will affect them at the library level. So
Was that unanimous by their board or was it?
I have no idea.
Okay, all right. Okay, MLBO State of the Band.
The three of us attended.
Okay.
I love that. I love the event. That's pretty amazing.
You guys have anything to add? We were there.
Yes, we're there.
And
Was it long?
as typical, I guess I would say, yeah. They have a lot of, it's a lot of formality of recognizing, different people outside the tribe and within the tribe in leadership positions. And then the band's, what would you say, the leader, what is he? Chief. Chief Wynn gave a lot of initiatives that he wanted to see that were within the tribe focused. There wasn't a lot of external that would affect us per se, in that address. So, but it was good. There was a good turnout of people and,
How's the food?
they didn't have fry bread till the end.
Oh, okay.
Fried bread.
Otherwise, yes, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Very good.
So it was interesting. Highway 23 Coalition.
I did not attend.
Okay.
I think they actually postponed their meeting.
Okay. Security Committee.
Well, I tried, but I couldn't get in.
Oh, okay.
Then I made a phone call, and within 7 minutes of connecting with somebody that answered, the meeting was over.
Oh,
So,
they had pretty good security.
well, the judge forgot too.
Okay.
So I don't know what happened. I don't know who made it in. So, but I saw the emails after, they're just kicking the stuff where it's, same as last time. They're gonna do a, active shooter training and some stuff like that. That's what they're focusing on. I think the door issue from the last meeting probably was resolved.
Okay.
And Mr. Chair, I can jump right into soil and water. So the first chunk of, first thing I want to say, there was 15 staff present that meeting. Everybody made it. And there's a lot of people and there's a lot of input. Everybody was stating what they're doing. And the bulk of it was closing out grants and doing a lot of stuff and then doing the beginning of the new year thing. But what I would just touch on is some of the grants they had, like the conservation delivery grant, $0 remaining. The wetland bank had $0, just because the business that's been happening. And I remember when I was first sitting there, they'd be turning back dollars like crazy. The buffer grant started out like 10 grand. It's only $282. So they're doing some kind of work. I don't know what's up, but so it's happening. Then everybody gave their general reports and end of the year, and then they brought up and you've heard me mention it in the past, the Upper St. Croix or the Kettle River Upper St. Croix managing that. The Bowser Fund and Pine County right now is the management in that group for that group. And so there's been some push like, hey, we need to be using the interest dollars and turn them back, whatever. So that whole thing you heard me talking about before. So anyway, the Soil and Water said they voted on it to keep it in the county's hands, just because it's the way the bills get paid, and they don't know if they'd be sitting here, how much reserves they have to handle it and that kind of thing. And it's just, nobody wants to stand for the audit. So we'll see how it goes through the rest of the thing. And that was pretty much it, gentlemen.
All right, you want to go into the Maxis demo?
Yeah, well, you don't even want to get me started on that. I don't understand it so much, but I can give a general overview. It's the same as SIS problem that they've had with the system we've heard about on time, but I think I think that system's even older than the SIS because there's some. But what's happening at the state level, everything's a workaround because it's an old DOS Cobalt system. So it's in the gist of the whole thing I got at the meeting there was that the federal government's going to come after us and they're going to be looking at our error rate. And with an old system, when you keep going through and reload and back and forth, it just makes it easier to have an error rate. So then if we reach our error rates, I should give you the exact numbers. So let's just say Pine County, let's say we have a 5% error rate. That's a $43 million impact. Or I don't know if that's on the state level or that's a state level, Kelly?
Right, that's the state level.
State level.
Yeah, state level is a 43 million. If we have a 10% error rate in what we're doing, it's an $87 million penalty. And if we have a 15% error rate, it's a $131 million penalty. So
And
that's
here's,
gonna fall back, that will eventually fall back to counties if we.
Go ahead, Steve.
well, it's like the unfortunate part of it is, if I remember my stats right, Pine County had a 0% error rate the last year of reporting. But we will not be judged on our specific county error rate. We will be judged by the state error rate.
Yeah.
So and it's, we've seen how easy it is to make an error, because we're humans and we're dealing with a system that's older than most of our kids. And so it's hard to imagine that you could have a 0% error rate in the whole state, or a less than 5% error rate in the whole state.
And a lot of that is because of the process they have to work through and the workarounds. And the ability. Yeah, it just, there's nothing easy about it. And I am no way an expert on. I had a long conversation with our IT people. We already commit as a county a lot of workaround time just to keep the system going for health and human services. Lots of staff time. Because you can't just upload a program and they have to manually do each computer every time there's an update.
Right.
The manual thing, every time the state does an update.
All right, Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe meeting.
That's easy. It never happened. Kelly and I were there was gonna be a Zoom meeting. Roger was, called and said he wanted to be there. But, anyway, did you ever find out, Kelly? Did we get a reschedule?
I have not found out and I'm waiting for a response about getting a rescheduled date on the calendar.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, Steve, Lakes and Pines?
Lakes and Pines, didn't happen yesterday because of Martin Luther King Day. It's gonna happen next Monday.
Okay. Is there any other meetings anybody was at? Otherwise, we'll move on to other. Sheriff Nelson, you want to give a quick update on the gas line?
Chair, members of the board, Sheriff Nelson, to talk about the gas incident. You've probably seen the videos, so you saw how impressive that was to start the incident. So about 1:45, we started getting calls of an explosion in the Willow River area. There were also reports of a plane crash associated with that. We had multiple people that apparently did see a plane in the air and attributed it to a plane going down. So obviously we had a lot of responders go at that point. I think we had 4 fire departments, members from the sheriff's office, Ed Mille Lacs, tribal police assisting us, associated ambulances with that as well. Got up there and were able to determine where it was, and no evidence of a plane. So ruled out some of those other possibilities fairly quickly. And, did our part to lock down and get some of the people evacuated that were inside the perimeter of the suggested evacuation zone for the incident. And from then on, basically provided scene security and, some logistical stuff going on as the companies came in to assess what they had to do. As of today, near 100% of their customers have gas service again. The odd ones are going to be ones that weren't around or able to get into the house to make sure that they could turn the meters back on and relight them. So it sounds like the recovery went about as good as it could have, given the weather and different people involved in that. So did not trigger a emergency declaration or anything like that sort because it is private industries. It isn't, there wasn't the impact on the public infrastructure because they are private. So we did not involve the board in any kind of that. I can answer any questions other than that. Other than say I was very impressed. I was very happy with our response. If you would have been in dispatch when the calls started coming in, again, I've said it before, it's amazing what our dispatchers can do and how they can politely yell at people and tell them we know already. And unless you got something important, we can't discuss it or tell you what's going on because we've got other calls ringing in. So they do a great job of triaging that. And then our responders, we did, again, a really good job of getting up there, blocking off the areas that needed to be, using some of the programs and equipment that you guys have allowed us to acquire. And then the follow-up stuff, it went really good. I do need to give a shout out to the city of Willow River. They hosted the party, if you will, and let all the people come into their fire hall and city hall to do their planning and just coordinating that initial response. And that was really good to see. Community up there really supported well with providing food and stuff for the people that were coming into work. So again, that part, it was really good to see how people did that. And yeah, so if you got any questions, I can certainly answer them the best I can.
I have one, but I probably was gone when you said it. Do they know the cause?
No, there was a lot of speculations, but
Farm tap where it happened?
no, it ended up not being farm tap involved. From what I understand, it's mid pipeline. So they do have the federal investigations were taking the lead.
They need an ignition source though of some sort of, otherwise it just vaporizes, right?
Well, again, speculation and me listening to conversations that I don't have knowledge, this really,
Yeah.
so to me, I have my own ideas, which probably isn't fair to air on that. There's nothing at any point that indicated anything criminal or anything like that was involved. The area was pretty remote. There were no structures impacted. There appear to be any work actively going on in the area that would have triggered anything. So it does just appear initially, from what I could ascertain, was a pipe failure that we don't have the full answer on.
Steve, did you have something?
That was the same question I had.
And I don't know if you covered it. There was no injuries?
No injuries, no.
Okay, good. Okay, well, thank you. Hopefully it's less than.
Thanks.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, guys.
Is there any other? Come before the board? Okay, take a look at your upcoming meetings. We are going to recess and reconvene as a committee of the whole. Just so everybody's aware, this portion will not be live streamed. So when we adjourn the meeting, that will not be on the live stream. That's what I was supposed to say.
Yep,
Okay.
that's good.
All right, so Commissioner Holland will meet us over there and we'll head to go meet
So-
with these.
So
Can I just-
Ryan, do I hang up on this call and do I have a new link?
Oh, stay right there.
Okay, all right.
All right, we'll take a couple minute break.